Good morning, class. On the board, you will see today's journal prompt to lead us into week 3 of our water unit. Please get out your journals and take a few minutes to write down your response to these questions. What are some things that you think are in water? And when I say water, I mean water out in the world, not the water that you're going to drink today from a faucet or from a bottle of water or your clean canteens. Are these things living? Are they non-living, or both? How can these things be measured? What makes water quality good? What makes water quality bad? Why do we care? All right, so for today, we are going to be learning these things. And these all tie into our overall huge unit of water issues so that we can design a project that will lead us to protecting water and conserving water. So keep that in mind as you are looking at these learning objectives for the lesson today. You are going to collect water samples and analyze them for quality. You'll be able to explain the purpose of water quality measurements, which we will talk about in detail later. We will be able to write a laboratory report using the scientific method, and we will collaborate with others to analyze and collect data. Then we will share your results and findings with others. All right, so what is water quality test? Why do we test water? There's going to be certain things in the water that make it polluted. So this is basically why we're going to perform a test. We want to find out if it's polluted or not. If it is polluted, we will need to clean it or treat it or purify it in order to safely use it. When I say use it, that means drink it or use it for human purposes. We also want to find out if the water is going to be safe for not just us as humans, but for plants and animals. So we want to find out the health of the ecosystem by testing the water quality. This is a complex situation because water, as you know and have learned, is complex as a medium. There's many properties to water. There's many attributes to water. Water is important for so many parts of life. So when we're going to look in the water, we're going to look for chemical, physical, and biological properties. Here are our indicators of biological health or water quality. So biological is where you're going to see if there's bacteria or algae or macroinvertebrates, living things, inside the water. We're also going to see if it has an odor or floating matter. So that's the aesthetic portion of the test. We're also going to test for physical properties, the temperature, the turbidity, the color, the clarity, the salinity, solids, dissolved solids, and sediment, which is like dirt. We're also going to look at the chemical properties of the water. We're going to test its pH, dissolved oxygen, biological oxygen, nitrates and nitrites, phosphates, or other inorganic and organic substances. We're also going to see if it has any radioactive qualities. For instance, there are places in the world, even right here in our local region, where the water has to be treated before it can go to houses because it has qualities that make them radioactive, and therefore we don't want to be able to drink that. So those things needs to be found out before you can safely consume water. Field data collection. In order to test our water, we're going to have to go out and get some water. So tomorrow in our field trip, we are going to be collecting water samples in groups. And in each of those groups, we are going to have different roles and jobs. So one person in your group is going to be the water collector using the sample containers. One person is going to be the water measurer. Another person is going to record the data on the worksheet. So writing down observations that you see in the location. near the water, surrounding the water, etc. And another person is going to be collecting macroinvertebrates from the water using nets in sample containers. When we get back to the classroom the next day, we're going to do some laboratory activities using microscopes, the water testing kits, and we're going to try to figure out what biological macroinvertebrates were found, which is the bioindicators. We're going to determine the water quality of the samples taken using those tests and explain why water samples are either good or bad from filling out our template for the lab report.